I'm still plenty scared. I've seen what they do to worlds that don't serve them. I leaned over and put my face near his. I would have to be stupid not to be scared of that. Starburst frowned, but didn't say anything else on the matter. We made our way through the dungeon up to the surface. It was amusing. I was designed to kill anything that entered my halls just to help the intelligent beings of this planet put off just a bit more ether for our faraway masters. Now, I was taking that power they gave me and turning it against them. The sounds of fighting filled the third floor. Unlike before, the amusement park had been altered some. The rides had lost their lethality, much to the chagrin of Amelia. Neo's people were using the top 3 floors of my dungeon to train. Since our world depended on it, I needed the humans to be as powerful as they could get. Just to be sure, none of them are going past the 3rd floor, correct? I asked, poking Starburst on the cheek. I might have spent 3 years on a station floating in space, but I still had to make him uncomfortable when I could. He pushed my hand away.
No. We have the city to warn us, as well as guards posted on the path down, but none have attempted to go farther in the first place.
That's good to hear. I couldn't let anyone near my core. With 3 of the Magi cubes, as Terleza had called them, in my possession, the area around my core had become chaos itself. It was stable, for now, but if something, say, a powered with more bronze than brains, were to try anything, I wasn't quite sure what would happen. The Pacrix cube alone could trigger an event that would cause this world to cease to exist on the timeline. I preferred not to let that happen on my watch. The 2nd floor cave maze and the 1st floor mansion were both at capacity with combatants as well. Neo had been recruiting heavily the last few days to fill the ranks. I was happy to have him on our side. He was powerful and influential. That was a combination that was sorely needed in our group. The only ones who came close to his status were my parents, but I'd learned over the last few days that while they did have an organization, it mostly consisted of people who gave them information about mistreated powered and commons, as some of the general public were referred. They served as an iron fist to keep certain elements in check, but worked alone for the most part. That was all well and fine until the world relied on them. 2 people just weren't enough to save the entire planet, no matter how powerful. On the surface next to the mansion sat a new building. I had taken the liberty to construct it after our battle with Terleza. I was tired of working out of tents and knew firsthand how easy it was for people to sneak in and steal information. So that the powered could have some peace of mind, I didn't connect the structure to my mansion. While most of the powered who worked for my parents or Neo knew I was on their side, some of them found it hard to break old habits. Starburst and I teleported to a back room, then walked out into the command center. This place was quickly becoming the brain of our operations. Unlike down in the dungeon, this place was where my parents' organization shined. They were truly a well-oiled machine that kept people moving to where they were needed. I walked over to DJ Rhea, working with her mixer and a dozen-plus magical transparent screens to one side of the room. The doll was my eyes and ears around the city, not to mention inside the various different worlds that we would be going to over the next few days. She was scouting them out with disposable dolls before we sent actual people this time. We came back from our first trips, but it didn't take an expert to tell that we got extremely lucky. How are things looking, Rhea?
Yo, mother in the house! The powered are working hard. Other organizations are starting to sense something is up, she replied with a rap. 4 worlds checked. Dead as last night's party.
I narrowed my eyes at her. You threw another party?
Nope, but I tried.
Sighing, I just shook my head before walking back to the conference room where the others were waiting. Neo, Serena, my parents, Thomas, and Mercury were the ones I was comfortable with. They took up one side of the table. Serena, the version of Lance who'd experienced the future of the city when it was pulled into another dimension by the Pacrix cube, had fused with some sort of scaled monster. Not that she looked back. The monster had overpowered all the other parts that she'd been absorbing, giving her a much more singular figure. While she was clearly more powerful,